Hello everybody. The Gibson SG, 1970s vintage Gibson SG is back on the bench. I just need to send the customer the link. So if you bear with me. So welcome back to Guitar Quackery Live, which is the live channel of Guitar Quackery. Guitar Quackery is the little workshop here at this rehearsal studio called Bob Elliott's Music Makers NY. Fantastic rehearsal studio. If you're ever in NYC, please come and visit. And if you live here, please come and visit. Yeah, man. So I do have another channel for those of you who are new to this one. The other channel is called Guitar Quackery, not to be confused with this one. This one's called Guitar Quackery Live. Only live streaming happens on this channel. And on the regular channel, on the main channel, I only have produced content and no live streaming. So that's the difference. So, what's the difference? Yeah. The difference is here you can catch me at work in real time. And over there you can only watch produced content. But look, I do have a viewer. You're the first viewer. Welcome to the channel. I don't know if it's the first time. Maybe it's the customer. I don't know. We'll see. But we have work to do. And here is the guitar. And here's my switcher. And here's the file. The Fret Guru file. This is a fantastic file. Just to touch those little sharp corners, okay? So, just like this, okay? Not much. But I feel some sharpness there, and I just need to take care of it. Yeah, there, before we polish the frets. I call it fret dressing. So this guitar was on the neck jig. You're watching part 3 of this series. In part 2, we had this guitar on the neck jig, and we did level crown and polish. Well, kind of halfway through level crown and polish, we are doing the polish now. Or we will be. Right now, I'm doing something else. And here, I just got a notification, bedtime reminder. Yeah, not a chance. Okay. I've been meaning to work on this guitar all day, but things did not go quite as planned. It's all good though. Got some new work in. The most interesting project that I just got is going to be live streamed. A parts caster build. It's a telly with some problems and issues. So that should make the live stream interesting. It'll be probably an 8-part series for the parts caster. That's my guess. It's got multiple issues that we need to resolve. Yeah, man. That's how it is with parts casters. As you can see, you can hit it from this side or from that side. It doesn't matter. And I'm really not filing deep into the fret ends. There's just that one little sharp corner. We just want to make sure that we round it off. In fact, you can't even see the difference, but you can feel it. I'm not sure if I want to do also the fret ends to round them off or not. I'm thinking about that as we speak. Not sure. Maybe not. That's not really what it's here for. And the ends are kind of rolled anyway. So if you watch part 2, you will see. I had to employ some tricks to get this all leveled properly. I had to remove quite a lot of material from the frets, which means now we really need to do some extra work on the nut. So I wasn't quite counting on that, but that's how it is. This feels much better. The frets aren't seated all the way. Some more than others, but I can feel that some of them are also not seated at the edges, and it's not too bad. Maybe if I just hit it with the file, it'll feel better. If I hit it like this. This already feels better. And this one. So we know this guitar's been refretted, but it could have been done better. So just make sure if you do take your guitar for a fret job, you know, just ask a lot of questions, have a conversation with a technician. How many times have you done a refret? How many times have you done a refret on this kind of fretboard? Can you show me some of your work? Do you have pictures? Do you have a YouTube channel? Those are all good questions. And then think, and then make a commitment if you feel that it's the right shop for you. Yeah, this is much better now. One issue with the frets not being seated all the way at the treble side is the possibility of the high E string getting stuck under the frets. So sometimes we flood it with super glue. Sometimes we need to do extra work. Like I'm doing now. So I just need to make sure I sign off on it before I do anything else. Oh, look. It seems like 2 more people joined the live stream. Okay, I'm good with that. The nut fell off when I was leveling the frets. I bumped into it with the sanding beam. I bumped into it lightly and it just came out. Normally I do remove the nut whenever I feel like it's going to come out easily. It doesn't always, this one looked like it was kind of glued permanently. And it kind of was, because, and we'll look at that in the next live stream, because it ripped some wood from the nut shelf. But since we are talking about it now, I might as well mention that when the nut came off, I was considering making a new one. But since the old one ripped some wood from the bottom of the nut shelf, now I think it'll just be, well, it'll definitely be easier to reinstall the old one and just kind of clean it up and file the string slots a little deeper, which they now need to be, because I removed quite a lot of material from the frets. Yeah, because repairing the nut shelf is not easy at all. So it's an easy thing for a router to do when the guitar is being built, but as a repair job, it is not an easy thing to do. Yeah. If you want to use a router, you need to build a jig, and if you do it by hand, it's got to come out as if you were using a router. So not easy at all. Next, let me think. Yeah, I gotta think. Okay. We are going to start using the micro mesh pads. I'm still feeling a little bit here. So, and that's one fret that is not seated all the way, you see? So maybe I will flood it with super glue. I'll see. Yeah. I wish we had done a refret, but we didn't. Now I need to tape off this thing. Yeah, so this time maybe I'll use a piece of paper, or maybe this. Oh, let me see. I do have this shield. Oh, I don't know. Maybe, yeah. Okay. Let's tape it up. So this, you know, this actually came from a backpack. It was a stiffener. And, you know, I just made this protector. And sometimes I use this, sometimes I use other protectors that I made for specific guitars. I'm kind of still in the process of making them. So here, just like that, protect the guitar. How many times have I regretted skipping this part? More times than I care to admit when I was little. But now I'm a wise old man. Two people left, and I can't blame them. They must have better things to do. So this guitar will not be scratched, because, okay, let's get to work. I'm going to be using micro mesh polishing pads. yeah, so if you are interested in the supplies and materials I'm using, I try to remember to put everything in the links in the description. They are Amazon affiliate links. If you don't mind that I get paid a small commission, doesn't cost you more. You don't have to, but you know, I'm just saying it's there. Okay. I'm going up and down. This is an ebony fingerboard. There's no need to protect it. Sometimes I go like this, sometimes I go like that. At the end, the outcome is the same. I am starting this time with 1500 grit, because we did a lot of leveling off on these frets and then a lot of crowning, and you should watch part 2. The first polishing, I guess, procedure was done on the neck jig. You could call it polishing or sanding procedure. I guess both would be correct. Okay, that was 1500. And now clean up. We want to remove the coarse grit before we move on to a finer grit, which is 1800, the green one. I'm going to try to do this quickly without talking much. But I guess I do need to talk because people are watching. I think some people find this channel on YouTube as a suggestion. And some people, I believe, don't realize that this is, in fact, a live streaming channel, live streaming only. So I'm not sure who's watching now, if it's one of the regulars or... Well, there are 3 people watching. So I want to make sure that everybody knows that this is a live streaming channel. I'm doing this as we speak, unless you are watching a replay. Today is Saturday, November 23rd, 2024. What is it? 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time. U.S. Eastern. I do have viewers from Europe, Sweden, France, the UK, that I'm aware of. Maybe some others that I'm not aware of. You can use the chat. I might take a break and read it. You know, I can't promise. I do want to do some other live streams eventually, more like conventional live streams. Perhaps even dialogues with a friend, you know, kind of. I do have a few people in mind. You know, a few philosophers. One of them is Dr. Dan, my friend, who plays in 2 fairly established bands. One of them is Miasmatic Necrosis, the other band is uniform, both metal bands. And I really enjoy listening to him. So I think he would be a good guest on this live streaming channel. So next time he's here, I'll just push the stream button before he starts talking. Because if I enjoy listening to him, I think some other viewers might enjoy as well. He does have a lot to say about guitars and basses. He just came from Australia and Japan. I think it was mesometic necrosis that he traveled with, not uniform this time. I worked on 2 of his basses. He built a parts caster P-bass, and he somewhat slightly modified a Donable. Donable, what is it called? The model number? Model name? I don't know. I forgot. I do have videos on the main channel about that, about those 2 basses. We came up with a little accessory for his P-bass, which we named Extendos. And I don't want to tell you too much, because if you want to watch the actual video, that will be better. But the Extendos fix an issue, an intonation issue on the bridge, because he's using heavy gauge strings. So those are tapered at the ball end, and we want to make sure that they fall where they need to fall across the saddles. The 2 thick strings, which on a normal bass would be the low E and, well, the low E, the only E string, right? And whatchamacallit, A. And in his case, it's a G and a C string tuned low, right? So if you go to the main channel, Guitar Quackery, right? It's got the same logo as this channel, which is a pick with RX written in it. But this channel has also the 3 kind of like radio wave marks in white, because this is a live streaming channel, right? I don't know if people have picked up on that, but yeah. It's looking good. It's already kind of shiny. This is the last one, 12,000. That's it. Well, that's not it. There's still work to be done, but I'm done with the micromesh polishing pads. I'm also done with this file, so I better put it away. I'm trying to get into the habit of putting tools away right away. Okay. I'd like to have a pegboard, but there's no space for a pegboard. And I don't like to hang tools in front of me right above the workbench, because that's also above the guitars. And it's just against my best judgment to do that. I do have a few tools here, some lightweight, like, you know, this set of screwdrivers. Just a few little knickknacks are here. But in general, all the tools are below the workbench. Okay, so we had a few viewers, 5, now we're back to 3. And we do see some comments. Yeah. Good evening. YT party tonight. Is that YouTube party tonight? I've been meaning to ask you. Yeah, he's a regular. Okay, what's next? Well, I want to clean up a little bit. So I'm going to use the popular toxic chemical that is used in guitar repair shops, that children should not be using. They shouldn't be using it unsupervised, and they shouldn't be using it supervised either, in my opinion. So I'm keeping my face away from. I can't even smell it because it's just very volatile. It just goes up and out that way. Now I kind of smell it. Yeah, so, you know, I just want to remove the grit and, you know, the metal that's removed by the polishing pads. Any polishing or buffing is the removal of material. Right? That's what it is. And in some cases, smudging of the material. So, that too. Yeah, now I kind of like the frets. They are rolled. And I see a reflection from the fret end. You can't see it from there. I'm not sure if I switch the camera, if you can see that kind of little reflection. Not really. They're not ball end frets. They're just rolled like that on both sides. So I had to go with that because whoever refretted it already put that curve on the frets. I just had to make sure that the frets were even. Okay, so let's put the toxic chemical here for now. I love this. It is kind of dry today. And now it's time to do some buffing. Once again, links are below. And this time I'm going to use the Music Nomad Fret Shield. I didn't put a link to that, but I can edit the description afterwards. They come in different sizes. This says G, electric. G, you know, they can't use the word Gibson, I guess. So it doesn't fit perfectly. It just, well, Gibson guitars don't have, they're not like Epiphone guitars. They don't have the exact same scale length on all of them, right? So maybe I need to do this in sections. Let me see. I want to be able to use the fret shield if I can. You know what? We'll use another technique because this isn't really working. And this wouldn't work too well now that I think, because of the rolled edges anyway. So we get to use another technique. Tape. But I won't tape off the entire fingerboard. I will just do this and then move the tape. So this technique, so by the way, I don't always use the same technique. This technique will give me access to both fret ends. Very good access. It takes a little bit longer to do it that way because I got to move the tape. But let's get started. I do have a fresh buffing wheel. One of these days I'll show you how to put a fresh wheel. You got to do something to it. But it's already done, so yeah. Look at that. So now, when I use this technique, what I normally do is, because I need to move the tape, so I use 2 buffing compounds, right? And I also kind of hand buff in between. So I just do one pass with the first compound and another pass with the other one. Where should I put it? Maybe here. Okay. So once again, we are looking at this fret, and here now I kind of hand buff it. Put some paste on it, and now I buff it with the other rotary tool. Oops. Okay, and this is a really shiny finish, as you can see. And now I clean and move the tape. Let's do another one from start to finish. What buffing compound you use will depend on the fret material. So these are nickel silver, and this is the rouge, the red one. But you know, there's a set of 6. There's a chart online that tells you what to use for you know, stainless steel. I mean, that's really all that we are going to be encountering. Stainless steel, maybe EVO gold frets, which is titanium mixed with copper. But nickel silver is really brass with a little bit of nickel, with about 18% nickel, depends on the manufacturer. Most frets are 18% nickel. So it's brass. So you can treat it as brass, because that's what it is. And that's why it oxidizes like brass, and it turns a bit green if it gets mixed with sweat and skin particles, also known as fret cheese. When I talk to a customer about their guitars, sometimes I use the term fret cheese, but first I feel out the customer, I say biofilm. So then, depending on their reaction, I might say it's also known as fret cheese. But if I feel that they might be offended, then I don't mention that term, because, you know, I do want to be professional, at least a little bit. I like to use, I like to say fret cheese. And some guitars, you know, are brought to me like they look like they've been pulled out of a sewer. I don't use that term with the customer. Okay. Here. These have 3 speeds. So if you want to buy them, they can be purchased through Amazon. I know I don't like Amazon either, but what can I do? I don't like it. They have 3 speeds, so if you buy them, always use the highest speed. The highest speed also gives you more power. So these frets really look good right now. And this guitar should no longer have the issues that the customer was reporting, fretting out. Interestingly, it's, I don't know if this is the first time you're watching this series. This guitar has a 9.5-inch radius fingerboard. It's a 1970s Gibson. So anything goes from the 1970s. But if you watch part 2 of this series, you will see I had to do a little bit of a compound radius. So if you watch the previous episode, I explain why. I guess I could explain it again. So these frets were not seated all the way. This means that there are small gaps between, and it's inconsistent between the fingerboard and the fret. You can see this, yeah? But they're better seated at the sides. That's not uncommon on guitars, by the way. I had to remove a lot of material, and the edges of the frets were also rolled down like this. They were hammered, I think. So I had to make the call. In order to really level everything off, I would either have to maintain the 9.5-inch radius throughout and basically make all the frets even lower. Or these were leveled off already here, and I had some issues here. Or simply make these more radiused, meaning a smaller radius than 9.5 inch. And now, interestingly, this guitar now has a compound radius. Slightly, right? If this is 9.5 inch, this might be 9 inch. Or I don't think less than 8.5 inch. I think more like between 8.5 and 9 inch. Probably closer to 9 inch. So a compound radius, technically speaking. I still had to remove a lot of material from the frets, which is why the adjustment work that I need to do on the nut will be more more drastic, I guess is the word. I think that a lot of people watching this channel, the live streaming channel, must be guitar techs. Oh, something came in. Yeah, I do need to send a text message. If you bear with me, it'll be quick. Sorry about that. That's the nature of these live streaming videos. Comma, please, and thank you. Okay, hopefully no more. How many people are watching? Oh look, all these messages. I can't read them now, sorry. 5 viewers. Okay. I am by myself, so tonight, I mean right now, I am not live streaming outside in the lobby. So for those of you who are new to this channel, we have a monitor outside. There's a waiting area, and during the day, I always live stream in the lobby on the monitor. And some people have noticed, oh, wow, I'm watching you and you're actually doing this in real time. Yep. So it's just to promote the shop, right? Because some people come here just to rehearse, and they don't realize right away that there is going to be a repair shop as well. Although I do have a neon sign right there. You can see the neon sign on many of the produced videos on the main channel, Guitar Quackery, right? Obviously, these frets are closer together, so we're not halfway through yet. But they look good. I always tell my customers to polish their frets whenever they change the strings. and I tell them to change the strings more often than average people do, I guess. And I also tell them if they sweat a lot, they need to polish their frets even between string changes. If you use this Music Nomad cradle cube, you can put the neck like this, loosen the strings, and just put the strings on the two sides. Have access to the entire fingerboard, and you can polish the frets, then put the strings back without fully removing them from the guitar. Yeah, man, look at that. It's like a mirror. I really like doing this job. I don't get tired of it. Or putting strings on guitars. I actually used to offer just a restringing service, but I no longer do. I talk about this sometimes on this channel. It's because I'm trying to reduce the number of guitars that I put on the bench. So now I just take full service requests. Or sometimes that's not what people request. Sometimes they still call for a string change. And then I talk to them, and if I don't really want to use the word convince them, but all right, for lack of better words, if I convince them that their guitar needs at least a setup, then they come in, with the intention to do more than just change the strings. Because honestly, most guitars can use more than just a string change, right? But I will do just premium detailing and premium fret dress without doing a setup, and then put the strings on, obviously, if the guitar doesn't require a setup, if there's nothing to be done. So as long as the guitar is on spec when it leaves the shop, right? So if it comes on spec, so usually that might be a nylon string guitar. Most of them don't really require setups, but we can still do this premium detailing and string change. Yeah, that's usually what I do on nylon string guitars. Because if it actually requires a setup, that can be a whole other set of issues. So there was a guitar recently, and I already kind of halfway made the video for the main channel, that required a setup, but you couldn't lower the saddle anymore without losing more of a break angle across the saddle. So I ended up doing a conversion from a 6-hole bridge classical bridge or nylon string bridge to a 12-hole nylon string bridge. And I made a special tool for that. I had to drill 6 more holes through the back of the bridge. When you do that on a nylon string guitar, you gain break angle across the saddle. So then you can lower the saddle a little bit. But really good nylon string guitars are already made that way. Or even with an 18-hole bridge. And I also work on budget guitars, as long as people want, you know, this level of service. I've done plenty of Squires. In fact, today I was working on a Squire, but I wasn't live streaming because I'm actually making a long-form video about that one. It's an old Squire Stratocaster, and it had some interesting issues. So I'm doing more than just way more than just a setup. I'm actually doing a repair job. Actually, a few repairs on that guitar. But it's the guy's first guitar, so it has sentimental value, and he's very well aware of the fact that he's spending way more to repair it than it would cost to buy a new one, but he doesn't want a new one. He wants that guitar, which is understandable if, you know, it's his first guitar. And the guitar does have a lot of character. So I decided to make a long-form video about that guitar instead of just live streaming. All right. That was the 12th fret. So we are halfway through definitely now. We're here now. Focus, focus. All right. So I did a level crown and polish on this, on the neck jig. So normally I would do this also on the neck jig, with the guitar still on the neck jig. But it was getting really late, so I had to take it off the neck jig. And I'm doing it on the bench. And by the way, if you are technicians, you watching, and if you do a level crown and polish on the bench, if you don't have a neck jig, I think this is the best neck rest for a level crown and polish on the workbench. I really like the distribution of, it says it's got 2 pressure points, right? It keeps the neck stable and kind of straight. Oh, I just realized I need to check the battery on my laptop so that the live stream doesn't get interrupted. So let me check that. Oh, and this too. Yeah. I have a timer on my charger because I don't like to charge the battery all the way up. Oh wow, a lot of chats this time. Dr. Bishop, Dr. Richard Bishop. Hi once again. I have another live stream. Oh really? Oh, okay. Smalls and Mesro Jazz. Sound on here as you polish this time. What do you think of the Plek machine? Okay, it's a good topic. I think it's a fantastic tool. Just like any tool, it's a fantastic tool used for what is best. Well, I don't think every guitar is a candidate for a Plek machine. Yeah. And if it is a good candidate for a Plek machine, and if the tool, meaning the Plek machine, is used properly, it's a fantastic tool. It does a level and crown job at the same time. That's my understanding. So, and that's an important distinction. So, to the best of my knowledge, it has a disc that basically has a trench like on a crowning file. So why don't we look at this crowning file quickly? I gotta focus this. I gotta move this. Okay. So we're looking at the crowning file. Okay. So this surface is straight. Okay. And that's the file, right? So that's what it's like. Okay. And now, to the best of my understanding, a Plek machine, and correct me if I'm wrong, has a disc, a rotating disc, that's basically a file all around. So it'll remove the top material from the top of the frets and from the sides at the same time. Okay, so now let's think about that. It needs to do that in really light passes, because if it does it too aggressively, let me backtrack a little bit. I see a lot of Gibson guitars, and I in fact see a lot of brand new Gibson guitars. And what do we know about brand new Gibson guitars? They're just been plecked and not played. So I've seen uneven frets on plecked guitars. Again, how do we know it's plecked? Because it's a brand new Gibson, right? So why does it have uneven frets if it's been plecked? I have a theory, and I might be wrong or I might be half right, but I think that they run the machine too hot sometimes, at least sometimes. It depends who's running the machine. And what do I mean by that? If they set it up to remove a lot of material all at once, it'll overheat the fret. And overheated frets tend to flex. I bought a few Gibson guitars in the past few years, brand new. And I noticed that the fret crowns, the height, was much lower than brand new Gibson guitars used to be, or used to have. So this leads me to believe that they are rushing through the job, obviously to minimize their expenses and maximize their profits, which is what every business should be doing, right? But they got to do it the right way. So I think they just run their plec machine too aggressively, thinking that, okay, if we just remove more material all at once, we will ensure that all the frets are even. And that doesn't really happen if the frets are overheated and if some of them flex, right? That's my theory. But if you use the machine properly, I have absolutely no objections, except perhaps one. The machine doesn't think. So this guitar is a good example, right? I was leveling and I was monitoring, and I had to make a call, actually 2 calls. I had to make the call to do that compound radius thing and also to roll the fret ends. A machine would not make that call. Now you are supposed to use it in scanning mode first and scan the entire fretboard and then set up the optimal settings on the machine so that you minimize how much material you end up removing from the frets. And I don't believe that that's done at the factories. At the factories, I think they just run the machine. And I think, and I do emphasize that I just think, right? I don't know. I don't have any information except, what is it called? Circumstantial evidence, right? I'm trying to make my own conclusions from what I see. So I think that that's what they do based on the fact that I see that they've been making their frets lower and that some of the frets are uneven. And I've seen another mistake. The plec machine was not completely aligned, or maybe the guitar got kicked out of alignment somehow. So it would, so if this is the crown of the fret, how can I explain this? So let's say this is the crown of the fret, right? Let's imagine that this is just halfway like that, right? And the file of the plec machine is supposed to level it and crown it like this. And it ended up being a little bit off to the side, so it ended up creating an offset fret. So I've seen that. I have pictures. So once again, the machine doesn't think. So if the guitar gets kicked out of alignment, the machine is not going to notice anything. Did I polish this one? I mean, I did buff it, but did I do it with both? So I definitely did it with this one. Okay. So I think it's a complex machine, and people need proper training. I do have an objection about another company, and I don't know if I should. Okay, without naming the company, there is a company that sells guitars and will offer a Plex service. So you buy the guitar online, and then you have the option to add, I think it's like a $300 Plex service. Well, first of all, does the guitar really need it? But you know, they will offer it without inspecting the guitar. At least last time I checked, that's how it was. I don't know if they changed anything. So people have heard of Plex, you know, get your guitar plecked, right? And they think, oh yeah, I'll get my guitar plecked. It'll play better. Okay, well, were the frets uneven? Did it need that service? Because you are now removing material from the frets on a brand new guitar. And I'm not sure if you can add a Plex service to a Gibson. I'm not sure. I didn't really look that closely. But I don't think that's a really good practice. Yeah, I would worry about the long-term reputation. Because people are going to start talking, people are going to start watching videos online, and you know, so this would be like technicians such as myself who don't have Plex machines, just offering a level crown and polish without seeing the guitar. Oh, you just bought a new guitar, you want to set up? Let's do a level crown and polish. So now everybody would question, why do we want to do that? It's a brand new guitar, right? But it seems like people aren't questioning. Many people aren't questioning, I guess. I don't know the percentage. Many people aren't questioning if they should get the guitar plecked before seeing the guitar. Those are my opinions about Plex. So once again, to end on a positive note, right? I think it's a fantastic machine. Yeah. It needs to be used properly. Now, if you pay for a Plex scanning service, well, that's different. That's really just an assessment. And I know that some private shops who own Plex machines do offer the service. So they put the guitar on the Plex machine and they just use the scanning feature. And then it maps out the topography of the entire fretboard. And for diagnostic purposes, yeah, I think that's great. I think I would even use that. So if someone brought a report, let me think about it because I never thought about it. I would still want to check the guitar myself, but if someone had a report, right? Would I rely on that? I don't know. I gotta think about it. And now if I had a Plek machine, because I do assessments, right? I do them by hand. Would I put the guitar on the Plek machine to scan the fretboard for diagnostics purposes? I don't know. Maybe I would. Sorry. Good question. So I'm just thinking, so for diagnostics purposes, I would still want to verify by hand. Yeah, I think so. Which begs the question, why bother? Why bother? If I'm going to verify everything by hand anyway. It's just more work, right? Maybe if I had a Plek machine for a year and I was running diagnostics on it and always checking by hand, after I don't know how many guitars, I would know how to rely on the results of the scan, right? I am curious about it because I do like technology. Obviously, all this equipment is here. I mean, a Plek machine is basically a CNC machine. I don't know if any people have converted CNC machines into Plek machines. Maybe. Now we're done with this. Look at that, the last one. Looks good. And let's start charging this one. 3 people watching. Did that make any sense? You are free to disagree with me. Yeah, technology is really amazing. We can do so many things. I used to watch James Bond movies when I was a kid, a teenager, and there was always a part in the movie where James Bond would go to the whatever lab where they make all the spy equipment, and they would show him the latest gadget. Well, now we have this, which is much more than any James Bond gadget I've ever seen in a movie. But as some of you might know, and I only have 2 people watching now, I am currently working on the Acquisto guitar. It's really valuable. I have no idea how valuable it is, but very valuable. Hold on, let me put this away. I had to do, sorry, let me put this away, then I'll talk. I had to do a level crown and polish on that guitar. And let me say this, that if I owned a Plek machine, even if I've had it for, I don't know how many years, 5 years, let's say, and that guitar came in, I would not put it on the Plek machine for a fret job, right? I would not trust the Plek machine on that guitar. Too much of a liability. There is a playlist of the Acquisto guitar on this channel, and it's how many parts? Oh, I no longer have an audience. It's all right. All right, so I guess I'll be all by myself. Okay, I need to clean the side of the neck, the two sides of the fretboard. Should I use the toxic chemical or should I use just the detailer? Another person is joining. Now I do have one viewer. As you can tell, dear viewer, this is a very successful live streaming channel. There's one of you. I did have 8 viewers briefly, and then it was mostly 4, no, like 3 and 4, and now there's only 1. And I don't know if you are a new viewer or not. This is a 1970s Gibson SG. Just in case you're new to the channel and new to this playlist. And I just completed a level crown and polish. I just completed it. Yeah, that's that. Now I need to work on the nut. I forgot to oil the fingerboard, so I need to do that, actually. Why don't I do it? And then I will end this live stream. Oh, now I have 3 viewers. It jumped from 1 to 3. Welcome, both of you. Let me see. I can't see all the comments. Why not? It doesn't scroll all the way. Oh, it does. Okay. Too many comments for me to read because I am working. So, yeah, sorry about that. Where is this? This is here. Okay. I am going to, so I've been streaming for 1 hour and 19 minutes and 30 seconds. I am simply going to end this live stream. I'm just going to oil the fingerboard and then take a really short break. And then we'll work on the nut in a separate live stream. So you are watching now part 3, and that will be part 4. And then I guess part 5 will be the final setup, I guess. Or maybe we'll do the final setup in part, what did I say? 4. Well, I think, no, I'll take a split it into 2 because I had to do something to the bridge. So there might be more work on the setup. But this guitar will be completed tonight. I did a lot of fabrication work today in the morning. Yeah, for two guitars. I made a bridge. But let me finish this first. I'll show you briefly. I made a bridge from scratch for a guitar. For a guitar that's also on a playlist on this channel. Here, that's better. And here's the bridge. So this is the old bridge. It's no good. This is the bridge I made from scratch. And this is going to be a clamping call for this bridge. But it's going to be a Bondo clamping call. So it's going to have an impression of this bridge on this plate for clamping. Maybe I can show a close-up. I am just showing this because I have, well, what, 3 viewers now, fresh viewers, and I'm about to end this live stream, so I want to show you something. At least I show you something interesting. Here I have a few of those. Okay, quite a few. Okay. Yeah. Let's put this guitar away so we can look at the bridges. Here, once again, the old bridge is no good. It's all bent in this direction. Yeah, it's also a little bit too thin. And there's too many holes through the bridge. These 2 holes were for unneeded screws, and that makes it perforated, which resulted in this bend, and also because these wings are too narrow, so there's not enough material here or here. So, but look at this by comparison. I made these wings wider, which you can see, and I'm not going to be screwing down the bridge with 2 bolts. It'll just be glued, just like it should be. And I made it a little bit thicker on the wings, and I made the wings wider. And the bridge is also slightly thicker. Okay, so this is a solid bridge. And now I'm going to make, so forget this, a clamping call for this bridge, a custom clamping call to clamp it down during the bridge reglue procedure. So this is the plate that I'm going to use to make the call with Bondo. And I have here a few old ones. You can see this, right? So this was a, I think it was a Dean guitar, something like this, a unique shape. And this is a Taylor. I think it was a Baby Taylor. And whatever, right? So these are some examples. The guitar is a Luna, and there is a playlist. I was not live streaming the fabrication of this bridge, but I did make recordings. And what I am going to do, sorry, let me put this away. I'm going to make a long-form produced video for the main channel of the fabrication of this bridge. And then I'm going to link to all the live streams on this channel. So I'm sorry, I'm going to make a long-form video for the main channel, right? And I'm going to link that video of the fabrication to this channel, to the playlist of all the work that I did on this guitar that has this bridge. Now you can already watch that if you wish. Oh, I can't open it now, but it's called a Luna something guitar. Let me see if I can see it here on my app. Content, playlists, let me see. Videos. Playlists, okay. I've got so many playlists. View all. Bear with me if you are interested. Okay, this is what it's called. I'll show you. Here, we can see this. So these are my playlists. And here is the project. Luna Hen 02 Reconstruction. Okay, so you might want to check out this playlist if you're interested, and watch the replays, and then maybe subscribe to it, and you can watch the rest of the work live if you catch me. All right, friends, thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, if you like this live stream, you know what to do. Thank you. If you didn't, take a minute to tell me why. Use the comments, please. And that's it. I will see you soon, maybe.